Thank you for joining me. This is the Spiritual Princess. And I wanted to talk about what people regret after death. So I sat down and meditated deeply and spoke with my guides, angels, and loved ones on the other side. And I asked them what people most regret after they die. And this is what they explained to me. So I wanted to do this video and pass this along because I hope it will help people, not hold on to anything or have regrets when you finally do, transition to the other side. So the first regret, and one that my guides told me was a main regret for most people, is not speaking to a friend or a loved one because they were fighting. And after death, obviously, they can't be at peace because there's no way to resolve that. And my guide said it happens so much and it really takes a toll on the person after death. And this is not to be confused with people that were cut off due to abusive behavior or some kind of abuse. This is simply because the person held a grudge for whatever reason. When we die, we gain knowledge and have an understanding about why people acted a certain way. Most times people hold grudges over like a misunderstanding and then feel really bad for their behavior after death because they can't resolve it. So that's the first regret, and a big one. Another regret is how a person lived. And if somebody was consumed with material items like fancy homes or cars or just maybe that lifestyle, and so they focused most of their life on achieving these riches and success, so they missed out on building real relationships with either friends, family, or their children if they have any. These types of people can only focus on having more and more and more. And I'm not saying, and my guides were not saying, being abundant is bad, but when it consumes you to the point of pushing others away, it's a problem. And that person regrets treating those who cared or loved them so poorly after death when they get the knowledge of, oh my gosh, why did I do that? Money doesn't make people love you, but how you treat them does. And that's a big point my guides wanted to make. And that goes for people who are just out to marry for money or maybe the status. Those people often regret wasting too many years of their youth with someone they didn't love. And they are made to see how unhappy they were, all because they valued money and status more than anything else. Okay, another regret that they shared with me was living your life to please others, like your parents, for example. Say your parents pushed you to becoming a doctor, but you don't like it or even enjoy it. You just felt obligated or forced to get that degree. And this can be in anything. I'm just using doctor as an example. But let's say your passion was in becoming a singer or scientist. You basically see how the need to please others made you unhappy throughout your life, and how you wished you could go back in time to relive your life in a different way, in the way maybe you wanted to do it instead of the way your parents wanted you to do it or to please other people. In death, it's too late, and all you can do is understand it and try not to make the same mistakes when you want another life. Things you regret do follow you into a new life as an entirely new lesson to overcome. Some overcome it and some don't. So if you've ever wondered if you've had other lives with, say there's a difficult person in your life, chances are that you probably have had another life with them and maybe several lives with them. So my guide said in order not to have regrets is to live life without being obsessed about career, money, or status. Focus on family and especially your kids if you have them. Don't get wrapped up in pleasing others or getting into relationships for the wrong reasons. Don't hold grudges for petty reasons or petty things, and try to resolve any kind of problems as long as they aren't abusive or harmful to you. But you should always try to resolve those with people before the time comes when your life is at the end. You know, most people will never regret walking away from an abusive person or creating healthy boundaries for themselves. Just remember, we all have a right to take our power away from abusers or toxic family members. What I'm talking about is just, being petty about fighting with a friend or family member, because you will regret that in death. And that's why I wanted to do this video. So hopefully that helped some people out there. I hope it does and will in the future. Whoever finds this maybe was meant to hear it for a reason. And if you want further training, I do offer psychic development for beginner, intermediate, and advanced on Patreon. And I will put the link in the description below. Have a wonderful day or night. Love and light.